Alright, come on, turn. There we go. Oh, also, if you're wondering why the Loud family, the Loud family, Clyde's family, Liam's family, Lincoln, Catherine, Hannah, Bronny Ann haven't really showed up that much. It's because season 1 is more about our heroes than everyone else right about now. They'll show up, especially after now, but And also, if you're wondering about the My Hero What If that was supposed to come out, it recorded and got corrupted, so had to delete it. But besides that, let's get on with the video. So after the intro plays, we see it says Chandler 10. Now then. Also, if I say they're still in school, we're just going to assume they still are, alright? But, yeah. Basically, yeah. So, we start this story off just a day or two after the whole Zarthrax thing. Well, Lincoln's had trouble hiding his scar, but as we see this, we switch to another perspective. As we switched somewhere between the past when Lincoln first found the Omnitrix. As we see someone walking through the forest. Seems like the watch is already gone. The man says before he picks it up and picks up the pod and puts it in his car and drives off. Hey, Dad. As we see him walking to his house, we see Chandler, a boy with darkish reddish hair. And, well, we know how he looks. As he says, hey, Dad, as he asks his father what's he doing. As he says, not now, Chandler. I have some work to do. Which, as we see the man walk into his garage, into somewhere in his manor, before pulling at a bookshelf, which opens up the elevator, which goes down. As we see the man walk, and then we see him sit down before seeing a call is active. As it opens up, we see a man in a suit and armor. Did you get it? Yes, I did. Good. Now you remember, you make us that watch, and we'll leave you and your family alone. Got it. I understand. As Truman hangs up, and now we finally skip. As we see Chandler's father say, finally, it's almost done. Which, then we see him walk up as he sees Chandler getting ready to go to school. Going to school already? Yeah, I gotta get there early. As we see Chandler walk out, as we look at the boy's eyes, as we hear him say, wish Mom was still here. We hear the poor boy say, as we see him walk through his school. Well, he doesn't even take a limo. As we see the boy and the look in his eyes, as he still doesn't really understand. His father always did seem to just turn away from him after his mother's death. Things just stopped being happy for them after that. It was mostly left to his butler, Jiminy. It was mostly left to his butler, Stan. Yeah, why not? Stan. Mostly left to his butler, Stan, to take care of him. His father still looked after him. It was just that it was the butler's job to raise a small little 8-year-old boy after that. As we see Chandler walk into school, we see him walk into class. As we see him pass by Lincoln and his group, along with him chatting with Catherine and Hannah. As we move over to them for a little bit. Gotta go. The other girls are calling me, Catherine says. She goes out to hang out with the other popular girls in school, since, still popular. As Hannah and Lincoln are just left alone to hang out for now. And so they do. They hang out until class has to start. which we see Lincoln get up into the back of the class until he looks down and behind him and sees Chandler's face. As he realizes this is one of the few that ever since he first got the watch, Chandler hasn't really been messing with him. In fact, it looks like he's been falling into some type of depression. Lincoln can see it on his face, sadness. So while their teacher is talking, Lincoln turns back and asks, "Are you okay?" What do you care? What do you care, Larry? Well, first time I've heard you call me Larry in a while, Lincoln says. It's just that you don't really seem fine. And I know that we may have our issues, but if you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I'll think about it, he says. And thus, we see school really come to an end. As we see Lincoln saying bye to Catherine and Hannah, leaving. Although this is when we finally see someone. A Latina girl with black hair, a purple sweater. Well, jacket, technically, but and blue shorts. She comes up to Lincoln and says, "So, can we talk?" Yeah, Lincoln replies with, "So it's been a while since we really hung out. Sorry about that, just busy." As Ronnie Ann gets a slight look of anger on her face. Busy flirting with the popular girl, nerd, the football nerd. But, hey, or is it something else? Because, you always seem to just disappear every now and then. Hell. What the fuck was that? Okay, I don't know what that was. But let's just get back on with the video. So yeah, as we see Ronnie Ann just go off a list of explain like Lincoln's been gone all of a sudden. With Lincoln saying, "I don't have the time for this, alright? Drop it," he says, before he ends up walking away. As we see Lincoln meet up with Catherine and Hannah again, as we hear the two girls saying, "So, you ever wonder who's behind the mask of that triumphant guy?" What? Lincoln says, yeah, he's a superhero and all, but, if he wears a mask, he wears one. No? True, but at the same time, that means that he's the dude that saved me and Hannah from that tree and also from that surge dude. So, at least we can do is thank him. With Hannah agreeing and Lincoln saying, "Well, I think he already knows, but go ahead if you two want." As Lincoln walks away, as they wonder what that's about, but we see the two girls talk, so now as we see the two girls just go off talking, as we finally get caught up with Lincoln, Liam, and Clyde. So, what's up, Link? Well, as Lincoln starts leading them to the place. "Hey, Link, are we going to the place where I got the Omnitrix?" "Yeah. I want to go check on see if the pod's still there." Should be. I don't really have the motive to pick it up, Lincoln says, as the three of them continue walking there, as they see it's gone. You think someone could have just picked it up and sold it? It's alien tech, so I don't really know, but now I think we have to find it, Lincoln says. Probably. "Oh, Lincoln, how's your shoulder?" Liam asks. Well, thanks to this healing, it's fine. It did leave somewhat of a scar, though, but I can mostly hide it. Alright. So, we'll meet back up in the graveyard in a little bit, alright? Got it. With this, we see Lincoln hit the Omnitrix before turning into Stinkfly and flying off, as we see Clyde put on his costume and go off on his own. As the three go around Roy Woods looking and see if they can find any leads about the pod. And thus we finally get back to Chandler, as we see Stinkfly fly by. As we see Chandler get home, As he opens the door and goes in, he calls out for his dad or even Stan, but they're not there. And so we see him walking until he finally gets and notices that a book is out of place on the bookshelf. And thus we see him pull it, trying to push it back in, only to pull it out, which opens up the elevator. What the hell? Chandler says to himself before he goes in and sees buttons. As he presses the button that says lab, as he sees, this is under my house? How the hell have I never known this before? Chandler asks himself, getting there. As well, he gets to the lab, he hears his father says, finally, it's complete. The only thing left to do is synchronize it with the Omnitrix, but I can't give those people this. What am I gonna do? As we see Chandler come in and ask, Dad, Chandler, what are you doing down here? I saw a book at a place and opened it. What do you mean by we're not okay? Chandler, there's some things I haven't told you about myself, but for now, as he grabs the pod, I finally made something. It's called the Omegatrix. And I want you to have it and run, okay? Why? Chandler asked, somewhat worried. There are some bad people coming here for it. And I need you to run with it, okay? Here. As he also gives him, this is a holodisc. Play it when you're safe. I love you, son. He says as he hooks Chandler and as he hears knocking on the door, as he tells him to go. But won't they see me? As he says, it's a one-way glass. Only people can see in, not out. He says, as Chandler runs off with the pod, but after knowing his father's words, he looks back behind him to see if his dad will make it all right. As we finally see people in knight armor busting through the lab, as he says, where is it? Where's the watch you promised us? Somewhere far away where you won't get it. Is that so? Well then, if that's the case, then you're no longer of use to us. Flint is ready. Aim. Fire. As in the next moment, Chandler saw his father be shot down. Multiple lasers went out. As Chandler saw blood spewing on the floor. Now Chandler sees this, he runs as fast as he can to the elevator, getting into there, opening the door, just going, which we see him run even faster. As we see Stan, Chandler's butler, there. Hello, Mr. McLean. Is everything okay? And he says, Chandler says, please, just go. He says with tears spilling from his eyes. As they leave, as the Knights realize that we should probably get out of here, then go look for the watch. Go look for our watch. Got it. As we see the two of them drive off, we see the man leave. After an hour or two, we see Chandler pull back up to their house. Stan goes in and ends up calling the 911 for a break-in and entering, which we see. Well, he also brings up, I guess, using some type of alien tech to bring up Chandler's body without touching it, so there's no fingerprint wounds. As we see outside, we see Chandler with a turban, a cloth wrapped around him, with the pot sitting in a limousine as his father is carried out onto a stretcher into a vehicle. It's far too late for him. As we see a paramedic come up to Chandler and tell him he's sorry, but your father didn't make it. But Chandler getting the final nail in the coffin of his father's death just leads to the boy breaking down, crying. As he doesn't really understand. Well, he understands, but So this is the moment Chandler became an orphan, which we skipped some time later, a day or two. It was heard that Mr. McLean, Mercer McLean, was murdered in cold blood. Which, when we see Lincoln's reaction, as we see Lincoln slamming his hand on his desk, damn it! Why the hell did I know about this? God damn it. We hear him say, as we see him walk out the door, as he sees that it's raining. As he walks out of the house door, let's go check up on Chandler. It must not be easy, he thinks, losing someone like that. As we see Lincoln going to check up on Chandler, they talk somewhat. Chandler's mostly not really there, more like he stares into space, more empty than anything else. His bright yellow eyes now reduced to a dull, like sadness, with gray circles around his eyes as he looks off. And thus, we finally get to the funeral. Mr. McLean was buried next to his wife, as we see Chandler is let back into their mansion finally. As the boy just still has this blank expression on his face. You see him walking. As Chandler just starts to walk through life itself, he keeps walking. You see him pass through school, his own home, with just nothing but a blank stare. Now then, we see him finally at somewhere, I guess, at recess, just looking down, which we see someone come up and ask him if he's all right. As it was revealed to be a red-headed girl, Christine, Lincoln's old crush. She asked Chandler if he's all right, with Chandler giving a non-response. Yeah, I guess he is. He doesn't know. Which we didn't hear Christine tell Chandler that she has absolutely no idea what he's going through, but she is willing to help. The two just sit there and talk. Chandler just talking about how everything seems to have gone into a downward spiral. He doesn't really know what to do. He says, now then, we finally see him keep going. And he even starts to walk out of his house with the pod in hand. As he goes to the abandoned garbage dump. As this is when we see. He goes through the garbage dump, looks around, notices nothing, going home, but eventually we see him somewhere at Christine's house, oddly enough. Or, actually, no, she's more over at his house. Yeah. Christine at his house, as the two are just talking mostly. As she's at least able to get a somewhat small smirk out of him, which is the best anyone can do at this moment. He just says, hey, my dad gave this to me before. As he doesn't say it, as it's still a tough topic to think, but he told me to run and protect it. And he also gave me this. As he opens up a hollow disc, as it starts to play a message, Chandler, if you're getting this message, it means that I'm gone. The group that came to our house were called the Forever Knights. As he explains that they're an ancient organization hell-bent on getting all aliens off the planet. But also multiple other things. He doesn't know how it started, but he does know that they do not really like aliens that much. As he also explains to Chandler, so I guess you've seen those superheroes going around. As he proceeds to show, as it proceeds to pop up, as Triumphant, Inferno, and Elemental, as they didn't download until soon. Or, in other words, Lincoln Loud, Clyde McBride, Liam Hancock. What? As Christine was shocked and realized that those three are the superheroes. Well, it seems like all three of them have a Lincoln Loud, half human, half elemental, as his alien DNA so strong that it overwrites half of his human DNA. Clyde, he's also equipped with the power of the Omnitrix, level 20 tech device. As he keeps explaining who Liam is, as he also explains, now then, I know you probably aren't ready to hear this, but I'm sorry. After your mother passed away, I just didn't know what to do with myself or you. But this is my final gift to you. Besides just our company name and everything going to you, this is my true final gift, my son. The Omegatrix. It's something, well, I found the pod, the Omnitrix came in and decided to use that to base off the weapon they wanted me to make. But I do realize that it's far too dangerous for them to get their hands on it. And so I've created a intentional plan for you to be the wielder. But also that means I will need you to sync out Lincoln Loud. So the Omnitrix and Omegatrix, as it's built to sync with the Omnitrix's DNA database file. That way, so you can transform into all the aliens Lincoln can transform to. I'm sorry, my son. I love you, and goodbye. As Transmission finished playing, Chandler has tears streaming down his face. As we see him close his eyes and wiping them, as he realizes that those forever assholes are going to pay. And I know just how. As the pod opens up, a yellow glow shining through. As Chandler, this art isn't mine, obviously. As Omegatrix looks like that Omnitrix string, as he lifts out his right arm to it, as it latches onto it. As Chandler feels a slight sensation running through his hands as he sees his veins glowing glowing yellow from the Omegatrix. As we see him hold up his right wrist, I think it's about time I find Lincoln. I think it's about time I find them. You go do that. Kristen says, I'll be willing to talk with you. And you will, just call me if you ever need anything. And Chandler's saying, all right. As we finally see him, his resolve back. I'm gonna make those forever assholes pay. First, I need help. So as we see Chandler walk on through, as we see him walk through the backyard, before he pulls up the Omegatrix, as he remembers his father saying there's at least one DNA sample in there he was able to collect, a killing Sarian. I cannot say that. As he raises up his arm, popping it up, seeing just the soul silhouette, he slams it down, transforming. Chandler's body morphs into that of Accelerate, except he has a yellow badge in his yellow eyes. As we hear Chandler scream out, "Rush!" before zooming off with a yellow blur, which we see him finally get. Now we skip to the POV of Lincoln, Liam, and Clyde, as all of a sudden they hear something similar to Accelerate get in front of them as Lincoln brings up a shield, as he's been practicing with his powers, obviously, until they see it Accelerate? Could it be a half alien? Lincoln, it took a little bit for Chandler to find them, as his watch starts beeping blue before transforming back. Chandler? How? Well, I think it's best if you listen to this. Now, Chandler holds up the holodisc and lets it play. I'm pretty sure I fought some thugs that said something about some night guys on their ass. As Lincoln places his hand, as he tells Chandler that he's sorry that he couldn't help him, or all of that. And Chandler says, it's all right. Right now, what I want to do is make those pastors pay. And, Chandler holds up his right hand. You're the only one that I can count on help me do that. Plus, my dad said it'd be better for us to work together instead of against each other. So, he says, yeah. As the two shake hands, this is when both Omni and Omegatrix both pop up, sending out sparks a little bit. The hell? Which then leads to the Omegatrix speaking into a robotic voice. DNA database synced with that of the Omnitrix. As we see it pop up, revealing as it starts circling through the available aliens that Chandler has. This is cool and weird. I think I'm gonna have to get used to being this whole superhero thing, huh? Yeah, you'll get used to it. I'm gonna say. And thus, we've seen them leave off. Although, unbeknownst to Link, as we see them sleep in their bed, with Chandler finally be able to at least sleep somewhat, knowing that he has a new goal. As we see the screen split, as we zoom in on Lincoln and Chandler, Morley, the Omni and Omegatrix, as we see it start to shock out blue and purple like energy, shooting. As blue and purple like energy starts to spark out a bit before the dials pop up, spinning around, as the cores turn blue and purple respectively, as we see a new alien glitch in before it finally goes back down. And with that, Mon 13 out.